I used to think life simply moved in one direction, that actions were done and forgotten. But the truth is, everything we do has a way of circling back to us in unexpected ways. Now, let me tell you something about life. It's a lot like this right here, a boomerang. You throw something out into the world, whether it's a word, a choice, an attitude, and you expect it to just fly off, disappear, maybe even be forgotten. But nope, that thing is coming right back at you like a cosmic game of catch, and sometimes it hits harder than you bargained for. And here's the kicker. You don't even have to be trying to catch it. It will find you. You think that moment of gossip you let slide, or that time you stayed quiet when you should have spoken up, just drifted away? Think again. You see, life is sneaky like that. It remembers. I have often thrown life's boomerang with such a careless, wobbly hand, only to watch them veer widely off course and return with consequences far harsher than I ever anticipated. Let's rewind to when I had my first real lesson in this boomerang effect. Picture it, young Camila, fresh off the bus to Heartbreak Central, starring in a one-woman show called Public Humiliation. The early years, rumors flying left and right, some half-baked, some sprinkled with a dash of truth. But oh, the sting! And me? Oh, I thought I was clever. I thought if I just kept my head down, stayed quiet, and let it all blow over, it would vanish. I mean, isn't silence golden? Wrong. Turns out, silence is more like a boomerang dipped in neon paint, because eventually it came back, brighter, bigger, and louder. You see, silence is like handing the universe a blank check. When you don't speak up, don't defend yourself, don't own your truth, you're giving the world permission to write your story for you. And believe me, people love filling in the blanks, especially when it's none of their business. That boomerang of public opinion smacked me so hard, I almost started believing their version of me. Funny how life works, huh? So, lesson number 1. Throw silence when you should be speaking, and don't be surprised when that lesson comes back with a megaphone. Life doesn't take kindly to passive participation. It wants you in the ring, throwing punches, not hiding in the corner. If you don't tell your own story, trust me, someone else will, and you may not like the plot twist. But you know what's even better than silence? Boundaries. Oh yes, boundaries. Let's talk about the sweet boomerang of self-respect. There was a time I thought being accommodating, being the yes person would win me favor. You know, just go with the flow, be the easygoing one. But you know what happens when you let everyone's current sweep you along? You end up drowning in waters that aren't even your own. And that, let me tell you, is a lesson in itself. There was this one time I let my boundaries slide for someone who, well, let's just say their character was as flimsy as a paper boat in a storm. I knew I should have set the line, but I didn't. I thought maybe if I just hang in there a little longer, things will change. Spoiler alert, they didn't. Instead, I got swept into their chaos, and before I knew it, I was the one catching the boomerang of my own misplaced trust. Here's what I learned. If you don't throw out boundaries, you're tossing out an invitation to let other people write your script. And I'll say it again, life is coming back for you, whether you're ready or not. Boundaries are like well-thrown boomerangs. They come back in the form of peace, self-respect, and, oh yes, a whole lot less drama. But let me paint you a bigger picture. Because this boomerang business doesn't stop with just relationships or public opinion. No. It's everywhere. Think about the energy you put into the world, the choices you make, the things you let slide. I used to think that if I just kept a low profile, life would leave me alone. That if I didn't stir the pot, I wouldn't have to deal with the mess. But here's the truth. Life doesn't care if you play it safe. It doesn't care if you try to stay in the shadows. That boomerang's still coming. The only question is, what are you throwing? Throw fear. Throw self-doubt. Throw procrastination. And guess what? You're gonna be catching more of the same. But throw courage. Throw self-love. Throw some good old-fashioned honesty. And watch the magic happen. You get back exactly what you project, sooner or later. Trust me, I learned the hard way that not everything you send out will return in the way you expect. But that's the beauty of the boomerang effect. It teaches you to be mindful of your throws. Throw kindness, throw strength, throw boundaries, and when that boomerang comes back, you'll be standing tall, not crumbling to duck. So, the next time you're tempted to just go with the flow, remember this. Life's a boomerang, and you're the one in control of what comes flying back. Whether it's a gift or a lesson, well, that's up to you. You throw is what you will catch. Throw wisely. You know, there's something else about this boomerang effect that people don't talk about enough. The time it takes. Oh, I know what you're thinking. Camila, I've been throwing out good stuff for ages. Where's my return? Believe me, I asked that same question more than once. Sometimes it feels like you're putting all the right energy out there. Doing the work, setting the boundaries, speaking your truth, and all you hear is silence. But here's the thing. That boomerang, it's still in flight. Just because you don't see it yet doesn't mean it's not coming. Timing is a funny thing. You could be out here thinking, why am I still catching rejection? Why am I still dealing with the fallout from a mistake I made years ago? Well, sometimes the universe is recalibrating. It's not that your good energy got lost. Oh no, it's just on its way, gathering momentum. Take it from me. There was a time when I thought all the work I'd done, all the inner healing, the boundaries, the resilience, it wasn't paying off. I was stuck, still catching the remnants of old decisions, old perceptions people had of me. And let's be honest, I wasn't exactly throwing out perfection back in the day. But then, out of nowhere, boom, opportunities started landing in my lap. People who didn't see me before, suddenly they couldn't stop calling my name. And you know what I realized? Those opportunities weren't random. They were the return on all the good I had been putting out there. It just took a little longer to circle back. You see, the boomerang doesn't operate on your timeline. It's on its own. But when it comes back, and trust me, as I said, it will. It hits in the best possible way. But here's where you have to be careful. You can't be standing there, arms wide open, expecting the blessings to pour in. If you're secretly throwing out bitterness, resentment, or, oh, this is a big one, desperation. I know it. I've been there. Desperation is sneaky. It feels like you're still doing the right thing, but underneath, there's a little voice saying, why isn't it happening yet? That kind of energy is like throwing a crooked boomerang. It wobbles, it swerves, and it never quite comes back right. So what do? You focus on the throw every single day. You make sure what you're sending out into the world is the best version of yourself, even when no one's watching, even when the return feels like it's 1,000 miles away. Trust that it's coming. Trust the process. Listen, life's not about instant return. It's about building momentum. Every kind word, every boundary you set, every time you stand up for yourself, that boomerang gets stronger. And when it finally swings back around, it won't just be a reward. It will be a reflection of the growth you've gone through to get there. But let me tell you, There's nothing sweeter than catching that boomerang when it comes back as the opportunity you've been waiting for, the respect you've earned, or the peace you've fought so hard to maintain. You'll stand there, catching it like it was meant for you, because, let's be real, it was. You see, we all think we can outrun the things we have thrown. I used to believe I could throw away pieces of myself, past mistakes, insecurities, even people who weren't good for me, and they'd just disappear, right? But the truth is, those things come back in one form or another until you face them, until you stand tall and catch them with grace, knowing you have evolved. I used to think I could ignore the hurt, brush off the rejections, pretend like the criticisms didn't sting. But what I learned is that everything I tried to bury just circled back, quietly at first, then louder as time went on. The universe doesn't let you skip steps. You can't just fast forward through the hard parts. The only way out is through. So what do you do when the past comes back around? You catch it. You catch it with grace. You catch it with wisdom. And most of all, you catch it knowing that every throw was part of your growth. You can't change the past throws, but you can make sure every new one is intentional, filled with purpose. And if there's one thing I want you to remember, it's this. Life's boomerang effect isn't just about what's coming back to you. It's about how you have changed by the time it does. The boomerang may be the same, but you won't be. And that's the real beauty of it. So, throw carefully, throw wisely, and when it comes back around, catch it with open arms.
Like, share, comment, and subscribe for more episodes. Thank you for watching and continue to rise and excel.